Okay, guys, welcome to the session, and let me talk about the agenda that we are going to see today. This session is going to focus on those UI related regular things that can definitely help you in many cases. For example, working on the generation of some kind of data on the runtime and performing some kind of activity to show some specific data or some specific information to the customer depending on the type of the browser of the customer, or let's say customer's environment. So this way, for dynamic decision making, today's topic is definitely going to help you in a real time project. Okay. So for that what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some scenario. So, and I'm going to tell you something about that. Just give 1 second, and then you can easily understand that how exactly we are going to perform the things. By the way, any kind of question from the previous topic, or any kind of doubts from that? Okay, good. Yeah, good. So now let me tell you a couple of important things in this. So whenever you work in the Salesforce environment, then there are some kind of scenarios. I will log into Salesforce environment and show you the code where actually you will be able to see some, or you will be able to use some kind of value uh, providers, and these value providers are something which will actually going to give you the information about the access, like to process, to access data, and value providers actually help you to combine the related values together, similar to how actually an object can combine variable, function, etc. So it's going to be useful for that case. So let me just explain you the notes for that, and then one by one we are going to see the code, and then some live assignment. So here we go. So here are the notes for you, and value providers are nothing but providers are it's a process to access data, and value providers combine related values together, similar to how exactly an object combines variable and function. So in this case, the way it's combined or variable function and gives the information exactly in the same way, you are going to get some information by using value provider. And value providers are providers for component are B and C. So if you are going to get some kind of value from your view part, then of course it comes V dot something. And if some value is coming from C part, that is the component part, sorry, that is the controller part, then of course it's going to come C dot something. Okay. So scope is, when we use V dot, this value providers help us to get the data from the component markup, and when we use C dot, this value providers help us to get the data from the controller code. Okay, so client side as well as server side. And above, both values providers are local to that component bundle. That is, they are going to fetch the data at the local level, or they are going to work at the local level. Okay, so let's see the next important point now, the global value providers. So these are the combination of global variables or functions which helps us to get information anywhere in the Lightning component. So if you remember, in the Apex class also we have that, or in the classic also you have worked on that. So there are some kind of global scenarios, global variables which will give you the information about the profile of the user, or maybe depending on the uh, uh, properties of the user, you are going to take some decision, and etc etc. So this kind of things actually you will see, you might have seen already in the admin part, wherever you actually work. So this is something which is very useful here as well, because here ultimately it's going to do the similar thing. It's going to show you the suitable data, and according to that you need to just take the benefit of that. Okay, so let me now show you. So let me now show you here. So global value providers are combination of global variables and functions which helps us to get information. In that, global ID is there, which gives global ID of the component. Like ID of the component is to understand the component's entity, unique value. That is global ID. You can use $browser. This will also give you the information about the current user's browser, and then depending on that, you can take various decisions also. So this gives information about hardware, operating system, browser related uh, information. If you want to give uh, uh, if you want to get any kind of browser information, this is all related to that particular Lightning component. So Lightning application where it's working, you will get all this information, and depending on that you want to take some decision, then that will be definitely useful for you. And also on which the current Lightning application is running, related to all these things you can see here in the browser. Next, locate. Now this gives information about locale of the user, language, time zone, etc. Next, now resource. So here what will happen actually, that in this case, if you want to use any kind of image, CSS file, JavaScript file, jar file, etc., then all these things you can actually use here. And also you can present a visual force present, like you can just add and show it the way you had in the classic static resource scenario, and then pull it. Same you can do here, and whatever we want, all these things we can use in resource, static resource, and pull it into this VF page, or etc. And now I'm going to show you some scenarios to let you know how this actually works, how this code is going to work. So let me just show you that. So I'm going to first of all move to Lightning Experience, and I'm going to show you a couple of interesting stuffs. So I'm into Lightning Experience. Now let me go for the development console. And I'm here. So let me do one thing. Let me open one Lightning application, and so I'm just typing here. regular lighting component. So let me just show you that. So just to note it, I think stuck. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, so I'm going to open the lighting application, and in that, let me go for our test component where I can add this data. And here we go. So let's see now how exactly it is going to work. I'm going to show you now some variations and benefits of some very popularly used global value providers in the industry. So I have just added a page with some, let's say, header or etc., some kind of UI with information. Let's say, for example, browser details. If I want to get browser details, what I can do here is I can just use $browser.isTablet. It will tell you that whether the device is tablet or not. Then is phone. It will tell you the device is phone or not. Now, if you use the component in the phone, it will say it's phone. If you use the component on laptop, it will say the component is not phone. You are using on mobile device and you want to perform some Android specific activities or actions. This is going to be very very useful. Now, these kind of things are also regularly used in the market. And now, if you want to check the form factor, then also you can perform this activity. Now, what is form factor? I want you to explain this. So first of all, please do this activity in your environment and let me know what is your observation. Please proceed and tell me your observation. Okay, done. I can say almost everyone done. Okay, fantastic. So I think almost everyone done. Anyone who did not reply, please complete this activity because this is going to be important for you. Yeah, so please do that letterworks. Now we'll go for the next point, but complete this activity. So anyone who said that the form factor is giving you the valid desktop, absolutely right, fantastic, because that's going to be giving you the information exactly by what format you are actually accessing this code or component, and in this case it becomes very easy for you from that level to actually like make some changes in your code or perform the necessary activities in your code and do the needful. Okay, so this way it's going to help. So let me now proceed for the next level. So these are very useful code in day-to-day basis. So let me talk about now the next point, that is the types of buttons that we have in lightning. So you will see that there are two types of button very popular in lightning, that is the UI button, and second is the lightning button. So we can use both in lightning projects, but lightning button is advised to be used as much as possible. This is an interview question, please note, because recently in a couple of interviews this question came to the students, and they gave options like suppose you are having opportunity to use the lightning button and the regular button of UI uh, uh, namespace, then which exactly you will be using? So the answer is we should be using lightning button because here it comes with a default lightning styling. So this is a very important line. It comes with default lightning styling, and this way it's going to give us the look and feel of the lightning button with the lightning styling inherited already in the lightning process. And by the way, when Salesforce started using or working on lightning, okay, like many things are already present in lightning by Aura framework, and Salesforce tried to get all whatever present and try to use all whatever present on Aura platform or framework. But now Salesforce is trying to now create only the specific things for lightning, so that it will create its own series of entities, and instead of using whatever is present, Salesforce is using whatever it's creating. So slowly you will see that we will stop using the pre-existing entities and we will use our own entities. So let's go for the next thing. So next, now in the next point, what we are going to see is this. So I'm going to show you now one important stuff. Let me just tell you the code of that. Let's talk about the useful scenarios. But before that, I'm going to tell you that suppose whenever you are actually working on any kind of entity, there are two types of IDs you are actually going to get. That is the component level ID, and second is going to be the second level is going to be global or local ID. So let me show you. You can see now here component versus global. So let's see. Okay, now see here that local ID. So this helps you. Local ID helps you to refer the component into the JavaScript code, and you are working on client side controller and you want to access some information. In all such cases, it's going to connect with the JavaScript code. So for example, if you are writing this kind of thing and you're declaring the entities like this, lightning button or id, and buttons are giving like this. Okay, so this is the id which is going to be the key thing for you. Okay, but this is at js level, and you have used this previously as well. But now let me tell you something more. Global id is also there. Every component will have a global id which will be at the runtime. Like you are going to create any kind of entity and you are going to run that. So at the runtime it will give you that global id that is at the browser level, and this is not always same. It's going to keep on changing, but this is fixed. But when you run a project or component, then this will be giving on that particular moment a temporary id globally. Okay, just to be unique on browser level. This id is generated at runtime automatically, and this id can change regularly during process. You cannot rely on this, and this is useful for debug process, not more than that. So if you run any code and you perform any kind of activity, then at the browser level you will get the global id. But just at the debug point of view, otherwise maximum time in the real-time project we work on this only. Okay. Next, let's go for the next point. Now I'm going to tell you some useful stuffs, useful ids available in lightning. So let me tell you what are those ids and how we are going to actually take the benefit of that. Very useful. We are using this regularly in the real-time project. You can also take the advantage of that. So here we go. Some useful tags for regular work. So let me just copy the code and explain the things for you. So we are now going to see some useful component. Let me just show you that. Let me copy the code. I'm just copying the code. It's a long code, and then we'll get started. So first one is or if we have seen many days before, so it's not new for you. This is a known tag, but it is an important tag. Please note this point. Second is aura expression, that also you have used already. That is v dot attribute name to refer any attribute value. We have used this. Next, lightning accordion. Now this is something you can use definitely. So let me just show you the interesting code. This we use regularly in the real-time project. So let me go to the lightning and go for the component and just paste the component, and let's save all and see the code, review. So you can see here it is going to show you some kind of sections, and these sections actually will help you to divide the things into that specific manner. But what we will do now here, I will also use uh, the SLDS, or I will make the SLDS implementation that we will be doing by application level. So let me just do that. Just give 1 second. We need to extend force SLDS interface, otherwise this will not come. or you can also do like this. Okay, and now you run the code, and then I'll show you how useful is this and why it is so useful. So here we go, look at this. So this will give you three sections. First will be by default open. You can click on second, first will close. You click on third, second will close. Okay, so this is going to change like this. Okay, so this is one thing, and now I'll tell you where we used. Our customer had the requirement to show various images for the products of one specific category, and to show that specific product at a time, we are use this according. Okay, you can use also for your customer in any business scenario. Next is if you want to use like specific badges, you want to show some kind of badges on your lightning, then also it's useful. The next code I'm going to show you. So this is something which you can use as a badges, okay, to represent some information on your lightning component. Look at this. So this way you can just show platinum customer or top rated product or top selling product. These kind of things we use regularly in the real-time project. You can do also the same thing for that. Next is the button group. So button group is something which I think we have already discussed about this. If not, let me just show you. Button group is nothing but whatever buttons you have, you just include them into the lightning button group, and it shows you a homogeneous, a properly looking scenario. You can just see now here. So you can see it shows you a proper value and combination like in a group manner. So this is something which we use again whenever you have multiple buttons. Then also we use this. That is one thing. And next is you can also create the responsive scenarios, responsive grids into the lightning component. That again we are going to by the way see in format of the code. So I'll just show you that. Just give me 1 second. So let me just copy the component. So let me just copy the component and paste it and go to controller, and controller we are going to just paste it. Okay, just click on save all. Okay, see what's going to happen now. So after saving all, let's run the application, and now let me show you one interesting point. Now assume that I'm going to make the changes in the browser size, and now this page will support responsiveness or not. Let's see. So now see, I'm just making the size. You can see now, just focus on the buttons or the entities present on the screen. Look at this. Can you see? They are shrinking dynamically. This is called as the latest and hot thing in the web applications or websites, called as responsive websites. With the entry of mobile in the market, this became very popular, and people are using this a lot. Responsive web pages, and same thing you can do in lightning by taking the benefit of the lightning layout. So what I have done, see, lightning layout will actually give you a framework, and where you mention that what all the things you want to be responsive in lightning layout. Let's say we are given these all entities will be coming in a flexible manner in lightning layout. So this way we have actually given the button inside that, everything is lightning layout item with flexibility auto. So this way, everything what you write is going to be flexible. Very useful feature. Code is given for you for your understanding or using for your own, and the remaining JavaScript code to just check the button value and all, that is also present here. You can also use the progress bar, another various or like widely used scenario for showing some kind of progress in terms of the lightning component. So just let me show you that. File, save all, and update preview. So you can see that came and went. That was progress bar. See, I'm going to refresh again. See, can you see at the top of the browser again? See. Okay. So this is nothing but the progress bar, and that comes with the tag called as lightning progress bar, where you need to give a dynamic value $progress, which should be initially 0, but by default this value should be changed at the background, which we have done. By default we have made the change in the value which we have done. Okay, so this way we can work on the progress bar and make the changes according to that. You can also give some multiple values, multiple data for that. So in all such cases it is possible to use progress bar, and it's going to work in that fashion. So now let's take a look at a code, some interesting code. It's going to give you another example of progress bar situation. Okay, so see, now I'm going to change the component value. So it's going to contain simple format, first number, second number, and we are giving some buttons for calculation. Now here we are using the progress bar. So I'll just copy this JavaScript code, copy this code, and paste it here, and save entire code, and see what's going to happen. So run the application. Okay, now see, if you see at the top status, here we are going to trigger the progress bar. Okay, wait a minute. Now let's say first number is 10, second number is 5, and let's say I want sum. Click on sum. Look at the progress bar. Okay, so this way at a time you can increase the speed. You can see right now it's 1,000 millisecond. Okay, so you can even reduce this, like it's becoming very slow. It's nothing but taking how much time you want to take, and it's going to show accordingly. Let's say if you take 500. Okay, and if you come to this code and you come to the 500, so you can change the speed also. Okay? So make it 500. And what kind of step value? Let's say step value is 50. In the step of 50 50 50 you make it. Okay, and click on save. So here the only important thing which you know is this. It is first of all getting the setting the progress bar value, and it's checking if the progress bar is not equal to 100, because if 100 means full progress bar. If it is 100, then clear the values and make it as a 0 at the beginning. If not, then just keep on increasing 50 50 steps, and the total duration will be 500 milliseconds. That is 5 seconds. Okay, so this way you can use it in many cases. So let's say for example again I'm adding 10, 2, and subtraction. So you can see progress done, and this way you can like give a more unique and interesting way for your customer to take the benefit of all this information. Okay, use this also in the real-time project we are using regularly. So these are some important things are there. Next we are going to see now is suppose in Salesforce you have some requirements by which you actually want to create the, let's say, dynamically you want to create any kind of entity. Then also you can do that. So what is that way and how you can do this? Let me show you another useful topic. You can create uh, dynamic component. So for that we have specific JS code, and we have also specific handler code. So let's just go for that. Okay, and now file, save all. Now see, now see. First of all, I'm going to run this application. Now this button is dynamically created. Click on this button pressed. Okay. Now how this button is dynamically created, or how we can say it's dynamic button. See here. Go for application. From that, go to the component. You just see here. There is no button code. Still, we are able to see button. Where is the button code? There is just a handler and nothing else, right? And just a text. So there is no button code. So we are actually just providing a dynamic behavior here. So what I'm doing here, that as soon as the page gets loaded, it's going to proceed for init function. So go to init. Then what it will do, it will create a component with the property lightning button, with ID, with label, with the on-click activity. Everything is here. Okay, this is very interesting. And then once this creation is done, it will come to this function, and you can now here give some kind. You can just, if the result is success, then we have one body entity at the component level. So give that button into the body, and you can do by body.push new button, and your dynamic button is ready. Okay, very useful feature. And next is dynamic button is ready. Okay, and next is here. Now in this case, you can, let's say it's not working, it's incomplete. It's because there are three types of results you are going to get. Incomplete, it means you are not getting a response from server or some kind of network issue. Or if you got error, then it worked fine. It worked. It is complete, but it's with error. So you can even show the error message. Okay. And suppose we are also mentioning here that someone is going to press on the button. What should we do? Then we are calling this function, and we should say button press of. This is fantastic feature, and we can create a code dynamically. So we just need to give a body on which we want to push the data, and you can see the metadata, and you can see here, this is the code for the button properties. This is the code for defining what will happen on various success code or error code of the button, and this is the function which is actually going to tell you what's going to happen in the button event, on click button event. Okay, another very useful feature, because you can also create some kind of activities dynamically. Okay. Any question in today's session? Any question in today's session? Everything is clear? Everything is clear? Great, fantastic. Almost everyone saying clear.